work at Reedy Creek Nature Center, and this past winter my husband and I decided to become certified beekeepers so that we could help our friends keep hives in our front yard. Honeybees are excellent pollinators, so they help increase fruit and seed yields for our neighbors and other gardeners within 2 to 3 miles of our hives.
With the stay-at-home order, we've been able to watch our friends' hives in our yard a little more closely. This hive and the green hive contain swarms caught and installed in early March. The Bee Happy hive is a split purchased from other beekeepers that we installed in late April. The big boxes contain 9 or 10 frames with beeswax comb. This nucleus box only contains 5 frames. Each frame has 9,000 cells on it, where the queen bee lays eggs, nurse bees raise new bees, and house bees store pollen and honey. Our green hive got a second box because they filled the first 90,000 cells. They needed more room. The rainbow hive was getting full, but we thought we had another week before we needed another box. We were wrong. On April 28th at 1 p.m., we were lucky enough to watch that hive swarm. We followed it and we recovered it. Bee swarms are common in the spring, but they can be a nuisance if they decide to settle on someone's chimney or wall, so a lot of beekeepers try to keep their hives from swarming in the first place. The first step to dealing with swarms is prevention, but we're past that stage here, so now the next way to keep the swarm from bothering our neighbors is to catch it. This swarm landed in a neighbor's pine tree about 30 feet up in the air. Our beekeeping mentor came out to help us. We discussed several ways to get to the bees when the ladder was 10 feet shy of the swarm. Branch removal, bagging, and shaking into a box were all discussed, and we tried them all. However, you can see why beekeepers wear veils and safety gear. We were hoping to catch the queen because she's producing the pheromone that attracts all the other bees to her, while the scout bees are off trying to find a new home site. This queen must not have stayed on this branch because all the other bees flew right back into the tree. Watch the air right above the box. Once again, you can see the bees flying back up into the tree. That box we're dumping bees into is a nucleus box that we prepared before going out to the swarm. It has 4 empty frames covered in sugar water and 1 frame of honey. After several hours of this, we decided to try one more time to catch the queen. This time, bees went into the air and then quickly started landing on the ground by this branch. My partner clipped out the branch where the bees were congregated and put it into a box.
I think that's our queen.
Now the bees are flying and crawling right into the box. After a few minutes, there were significantly fewer bees in the air and a lot of bees in the box. We moved into a more protected spot, then added the bees into the nucleus box. Both the box and the branch were examined to try to find the queen. This queen has always been hard to see, though, even when she was still in the original hive. When we noticed how determined the bees were to get into the nuke box, we were fairly certain the queen was inside. And then the workers started to spread the Nasanov pheromone, which means "come home" in bee language. A few days later, we inspected the hive and saw new beeswax, new pollen, and little bee eggs laid by the queen. The swarm was caught and happy to be there. Our next step will be to get this swarm into a bigger hive where they can have enough room to grow and work on pollination and honey making.
Honeybees are amazing creatures, and they do a lot for us by pollinating our food plants and making honey. But our native pollinators do a lot of work too. European honeybees are livestock, and it's important for us to remember that we beekeepers are responsible for their care and for raising them in a way that does no harm to our native bees and pollinators. If you see a swarm of honeybees, you should call a beekeeper instead of trying to catch it yourself.
North Carolina and Mecklenburg County have beekeepers associations, and you can go online to mecbees.org/swarms for more information and people to call to help you with a bee swarm. Thanks for watching, and I hope to bring you more videos about honeybees and pollinators.